What's going on, everybody? Just taking a look at the markets tonight. A crazy week, hasn't it? Everything went up. I guess we finally got that Santa rally we've been all waiting for. So let's take a look at some stuff. If you have been paying attention to silver, silver has been on a absolute tear, just straight up. All right, let's get rid of some of this stuff. Looked a little toppy here though, but I am seeing some signs that this thing actually may take another crack at the high. You got some bullish divergence here. Money flow looks really good on Market Cipher, but you're getting 4-hour bull divs on. So it's starting to look a little bit like it wants to take a crack at it, but you know, and you got a little 4-hour market structure shift right here. You broke this high right there. That was a little 4-hour market structure shift, a little bit of bull divs. So it might want to come back up here. I mean, we got the only two levels above us right now. Sorry, I'm just going back and forth between my chat on YouTube and this. So you got this level at 78, and then you have basically the highs. So it's like you got the 4-hour shift. These are the levels to attack. So you flip 78. Silver could go back up to 84. You break 84. Who knows what happens, all right? Let's take a look at volume real quick on this thing. What's going on, everybody? My volume looks okay. It's starting to fade out a little bit here on this little rally here, but we'll see. You maybe turn back up. But yeah, silver's looking good. If it starts to lose this trend, I think I'm going to flip bearish, start to look for shorts. That'll probably be the end of the rally for me. And then I want to start looking back down here at like 55. If I'm being honest, if it loses this trend, I will be looking to short back down here on silver. So gold is kind of just chopping around up here right now. Nothing too crazy on gold. It's been holding this steady trend up. It's kind of like silver, but it's putting in a little bit of a higher low here on the daily, right? So really the level it's got to break back above to continue up is this 4541. That's going to be the level to break, man. I'm kind of staying away from gold. I'm just kind of using it as like a guide. But what I will say, there's a nice inverse head and shoulders on the 4-hour here, right? Look at this right there. That's money. Where does the measure and move take us? Let's see. And it's at the neckline right now. And the measure move takes us back up to the highs on this inverse head and shoulders. Yeah, I could take a look at NQ. Just taking a look at the precious metals real quick, and then we'll move into some TradFi stuff. But yeah, look at this, man. I mean, this thing looks like it's getting ready to go. I wouldn't be surprised if we see gold back at its all-time high, silver back at its all-time high in the next week or two. So I think it's bullish for a little bit. Just want to get just preface this a little bit. Nothing's financial advice here. My name's Eddie, by the way. I'm a trader at Tactical Edge. This is kind of what we expect at this time of the year. Typically December you get the sell-off because, you know, it's called window dressing. You know, you got to sell some stuff off, take, you know, tax harvest, and then they buy back in. You can sell something for a loss. If you're an institution, if you're a large, you know, entity and you're holding money for somebody, hedge funds, pension funds, and you're holding something at a loss, you can sell it, take, you know, tax harvest, save yourself on some taxes on gains of the year, and then rebuy back in at the same prices in the next year to, you know, to whatever your plans are with it. That's what we're seeing. So you're starting to see, we saw the sell-off on a lot of things. Now we're starting to see things go back in. But I don't think this is like a rally to new all-time highs for a lot of things. I just think this is just that time of year. We're going to see a little bit of a rally. Let's go look at the NQ real quick. So I was kind of looking at this a little bit earlier. Looks a lot like, let me get rid of that. So I want to show you the S&P looks just like this, by the way, but looks a little cleaner. So you're holding on by just like the tip right here. So this is kind of what's really happening. Look at the volume is fading, and you're kind of like almost bear flagging out, or could be potentially a little bit of an ascending triangle. So it's going to break one way or the other. It's either breaking down from this trend, which probably indicates it's going to probably move down, right? This is a lower high. Look at that on like a weekly, right? This is a lower high, and it could roll down. Probably looking at 24,000 is the next major level. But on the bullish end, if it starts to break this level around here, right around, let's just call it 26,000, it's going for the highest. I mean, that's the next logical area. So it's got to break 26 to really have any shot. Otherwise, it's probably going to start trending down. Volume is telling me it wants to go down, but I don't know. I mean, money flow doesn't look great on the daily, like it's rolling out. That's usually not a good sign. So if we do see a pop back up, I would be apprehensive, and this is just my thinking. You know, you don't have to think this way, but this is the way I think. I think any attacks at this high, I'd be looking for divergences, especially with the volume coming down. I'd be looking for divergences, and I'd be looking for a possible swing failure pattern, maybe a little pop back up into this area, you know, and then looking for closures underneath to signal like a bigger move down. A failed breakouts usually end up being the strongest move, so that's what I'd be looking for and would be expecting, especially with volume the way it is. But those are the levels. I mean, look, you start to lose that trend. Let me go back to this chart. You start to lose this trend. I mean, look, you're coming down. You're going to start attacking these lower levels, probably back down to 24,000. And if you can break back above 26, I mean, you're going to be attacking the highs again. But like, I'd be on watch for a lower high, higher, you know, like some type of diversions up here, some type of swing failure, maybe even a higher high, but with like momentum coming out. That would be something like a double top scenario I'd be looking to short. That's just me. Maybe it runs up, but I would need to see volume start to kick in, and volume right now is not there. So that's just my take on that. Let's go take a look at. Have it in here somewhere. There it is. So look, I just actually this is the futures, the US 100. It's the same thing. I mean, look, it's just consolidating. It's getting ready to break. It's going to go up or down. Where is? Let's go look at Nasdaq. Not Nasdaq. I'm sorry. What is it called? There it is. S&P. I mean, S&P looks exactly the same. I mean, it's just kind of wedging, getting tight. It wants to either break up, break down. We're going to find out. But the money flow is not really painting a picture that it wants to make new highs. So it could just be hanging on and everything else is just rallying while these things just chop sideways. So that's the I would say the hopium here. A few other things I was watching. So let's look at Bitcoin real quick. So Bitcoin's in a bear flag. I'm going to just straight up tell you. I'm going to spoiler alert. I said this a while back. It's doing exactly what it did last cycle around this same time. Look, you had your massive drop on Bitcoin. Let me get rid of all the volumes. Just kind of keep it simple here. The only thing you need to watch are this is moving average here. This is the 50-week moving average. When you lose it, you've bear flagged out. Look what Bitcoin did. Had a bear flag into the 50-day, retested it, failed, and continued down. Made its next leg. Well, we lost the 50-day, and what are we doing? We're bear flagging out. And it just happens to be that, look, the 50-week, I'm sorry, is coming into the top of the channel. I mean, my guess is somewhere up in this area, I'm going to be looking for shorts right around 100K. Why does that make sense to me? Well, there's a lot of things there. Let me get some of my trends and my lines drawn. So, just makes a lot of sense right there for me. I'm primarily a Bitcoin trader, so like this thing is like my bread and butter. But I'm going to break it down on some of the lower levels, right? So, you're coming into an area of resistance or with previous support right here. This little channel right here. Just this little box. It's previous support at one point. What's going to happen? On the higher time frames, that was support. It's now going to be resistance as we go into it. It also happens to be where the 50-week and the top of this channel are lining up. There's also a little bit more confluence here if you actually run a fib right around here. 98K, kind of in this area. This box is our 382 fib pool. So there's a lot of things telling me that, you know, when we get into this 98 to 100K area, if you're in a long, let's say you did catch this rally, I would probably get defensive up in this area. I've been riding longs all week, just taking little scalp plays. Haven't really taken any swing plays, but I will be looking for swing shorts in this area on Bitcoin and in crypto in general. Because if Bitcoin's coming down, everything's coming down. Internally, these are the levels I'm watching on Bitcoin right now. So look, broke out of this range here, this fucking boring ass range, by the way. I just want to straight up say, anybody who's listening, who's a trader, you know what I'm talking about. This range sucked. It was low volume chop, and then you get a pop, and then it would just rip right back down. Low volume chop, pop, and like it was like if you missed the move, you were screwed. Like you're out. You were sitting on the sidelines waiting for the next pop, and it would just bore the shit out of you before it would make a move. So look, we started this nice little uptrend on the 4 hour. Look at this thing. This thing's just uptrending. We broke that resistance around 90K, 90.5. The next level has always been around this 93.5, which is a 4 hour level, and then we have a daily level is our next high, which is that 94.5 that we weren't able to get above back right here when we like kind of triple topped out and then started to roll downhill. So these are the levels I'm watching. I'm looking for probably tonight. I am looking for a sweep of this 4 hour level because look, I think we're a little overextended. We had a nice move over the weekend. They're going to come take this back. If you look at Bitcoin's CME, I'm going to show you the CME gap real quick. And if you don't know about CME gaps, you should pay attention to this. This is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. This is what like the big people and like the big traders in the United States, the big money, they trade on this. So they're opening up much higher than when they closed on Friday, right? They closed on Friday around 90,400. They're opening up well above that level. So this becomes a CME gap. These gaps oftentimes do become targets for traders. Market makers use them to mess around, and it's just they come back eventually. More often than not, they will come back and fill them, especially if these gaps develop over the weekend when you get pumps. So it's something to keep in mind. I am thinking at some point we are going to pull back. This is all weekend liquidity. They will come at some point and they will sweep it. So I mean, look, if I'm being honest, like I'm not like planning to short, but I will be like waiting for it. I'm expecting it at some point. So if I'm gonna catch a short, I'm gonna show you where I want to catch a short. That's the reason I want to short. I want to catch the short either here at this 93.5 where it sweeps liquidity on the 4 hours. What I'm looking for. So I'm looking for a sweep of this high here and a closure back under to run back down, or I'm looking for this daily level up here with 94.5. Just the first pass. I don't think it's going to hold. I think at some point we do make our way up to this 97, 98K. I just think the first time we hit one of these levels, there's probably going to be a little bit of a short there. So, and we have this trend. If this trend breaks, that's my signal to take a bigger short. So I'll be monitoring that trend. But like on the shorter time frames, that's what I'm watching for. So we had this nice flag. I did catch this long earlier, but I took profits like well before all this. I think I took profits right here. We hit this high right here. I was out. I didn't know if we were going to get hung up there. I just want to get in and out. But look, as long as it keeps doing this, I mean, you have to have a bullish bias, right? So right now on the shorter time frames, we are starting to flag out a little bit. So I think we're going to get a swing at this 93.5 tonight, or at least a pass at it. I'm going to be looking for a short there. So that's my plan for tonight. That's my trading plan. Yeah, I think we can break it. I think we are on our way to break it. I think truthfully, like price is going to make its way up to here. We're creating higher lows. We are bear flagging. I think it's going to make its way into this area. It's going to mess with you. It's not going to be easy. I think at some point, maybe they'll overshoot it, get everybody bullish again, and then load back up for the next move down. I think this is a short to medium term bullish, like a rally. This is what it is. It's a relief rally at the end of the day. So, but yeah, I think we can get above 94. I think 100 is going to be the big area. 100 is just a psychological number, so I think that'll probably be where we get a little hung up. If it's going to reject, that will probably be right around 100. Maybe a few thousand before, maybe a few thousand after. They'll play some games. I mean, and look, here's the thing. If we start breaking this high right here, I have to switch my tune. Like if we start breaking this daily high, that's a change in character. At that point, like, it's starting to tell you, like, hey, maybe this is more than just a relief rally. So this 107.5, 107.6 is really like the line in the sand. If like I'm gonna like be looking for lower highs to take a short, if it starts breaking that, my plan's out the window. So, but I am looking for shorts in this area up here. That's why I have that box drawn out. That's just my plan. Just expecting it to come up, chop around, just like it did last cycle. Did the same thing, right into it, and then bang. So. I think the plan's laid out. You just have to be patient, wait for the right levels to get hit. You said everyone's playing 100K then down, so I think they're gonna keep it going. They might. They always do. Like, look, if everyone's planning for one thing, they're always gonna do something that's different. They're never gonna make it easy. I'm gonna talk about a few other plays I got. So one thing I am watching is Coinbase. Look, I think Coinbase is due for a little bit of a pump. I'll show you why. So it's been in this little bit of a channel, right? It's a downwards channel. We're just going to call it what it is. It's trending down. But we are getting to a low. We just swept the low right here, this previous low from November. And we're getting some bullish divergence on the 4 hour. There it is. So the 4 hour is starting to show bull divs at these lows here. I think there's a little bit on the daily. You can see it a little bit on the daily right here. How the momentum is a little bit, like the price is a little bit lower here, but the momentum is starting to shift up a little bit, slightly. It's not a strong divergence, but it's there. Swept this low right here on, this is Coinbase, by the way, this is their stock. So crypto's already rallying. This thing hasn't moved yet. I think it probably gets a little bit of a pump. I think if I was gonna look, if I was betting, I would say probably much higher than this 50-week moving average, because that seems to be the high, the last daily high. So I would probably look maybe a little bit shy of that. Maybe we get up to 270. Maybe we get up to 275 on this. If it breaks that, then then we can talk a lot about higher levels. The next level will be somewhere up here, probably around 320. So those are the levels I'm watching on it, but I think there's going to be a move coming pretty soon. There's a pretty clean trend you can watch right here on it if you're interested in taking this trade. So it's just a little bit of a trend there. So if it does, and I think it does extend all the way up if I'm being honest. Yeah, it does. I'm just kind of shortcutting it, right? So if it starts to break this trend line, I mean, it's probably going to start attacking some of these highs, or at least going up there to at least attempt. So there might be a little bit of a move here on Coinbase. So that was one of the ones I've been watching. Morph, I could look at Morph. Give me a second. Let me go check out Morph real quick. What is Morph? I'm not looking at the right thing. Is Morph a crypto? Or is this a stock? I'm guessing it's a crypto. This one, if this is, let me know if this is the Morph Labs, Morpho Labs. Oh, I don't know if I'm not sure what that is, to be honest with you, dude. Morpho? What's the ticker? Just tell me the ticker, dude. Because I type in Morph and a lot of different things are coming up. Let me know when you get that. I'll get back at it, bro. Anyway, let me go look at a couple other things. So Apple, I gave this short out a while back, but I want to talk about it. So Apple's in a channel right here, right? We've been in this channel for quite a bit of time. I'm going to get rid of this 50-week. We don't need this for the... So we're just going to look at straight up price action, right? Just in this channel. Every time it got to the top of the channel, what happened? It went back down to the bottom of the channel. Got up to the top of the channel, bottom of the channel. Well, this is the third time. We hit it again. Now look what's starting to form up here. And also, I am short on this. That's actually my trade. We're starting to form a little bit of a head and shoulders, guys. This is a Morpho. Okay. I got you. I'll get that next. Head and shoulders. We already lost the trend. We're at the top of the channel. This thing's coming down. Like, look, I'm betting my money on it that it's coming down. I'm already in a trade. But I mean, look, it loses this neckline. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the start of a. I mean, yeah, sure, it takes you down to about 250. It's probably going to be the start of the move back down to the bottom of the channel. This is how these usually start. They start with some type of head and shoulders pattern, some type of reversal, and then it starts to move. So I got my trade in. I'm short from up here. I'm looking for a move probably back down to somewhere in this area here. I would imagine if I'm just looking at price action, right? The areas of interest on a daily, like this is probably the biggest level for me. That's why I have it down here. This is probably the area where we're going to see. This is the old range. Everything else was the uptrend. They're probably going to come sweep all of this back eventually at some point, and it lines up with the bottom of the channel. So I'll be looking to take profits down here at some point. I can look at Tesla and I can look at Morpho. I'm a little trouble in my chat right here. So yeah, that's my little short play on Apple. Still in play. I mean, if you're a swing trader, you can still get in on that thing. Again, at your own discretion. Morpho. Okay. Morpho USDT. So is it on Binance? Okay. Let me know. Is this what I'm looking at right now? All right. Fuck, dude. How do you even trade this shit? Am I looking at the right one? Let me know if I'm looking at the right one. I don't want to be wasting time on something that's not there. All right, so that's your major level. Let me go to the weekly. Weekly might show it a little bit better. Yeah, that's your big level right here. There's your weekly level. It's not even a weekly level. It's hardly a weekly level. It's more of your daily. Well, there was bullish divergence here on the daily, right? So this is definitely at close to the bottom, right? It's showing signs that this is like getting close, right? The divergence that is forming as it's coming down, and it started to range a little bit. Is there divergence on the weekly? There's not even that much data. Let me look at market cipher real quick. I want to see if there's any divergences there. Nah. I mean, it's there. Look, I see it. I see a little pump probably coming for this thing. It looks like it's gearing up for a move. Momentum's starting to shift up. I mean, money flow's still in the red. Let me see. I'm probably going to have to go to do this on the 4-hour, really. So, I'm going to... Where have I been? Yeah, dude. We took off for the holidays, man. It gets a little slow. I take some time away from the charts, spend some time with the family. I hope you guys were doing the same. A-Lab was playing. Yeah, dude, let's get into it. Dude, we're going hard, man. We're going hard in 2026. We're really we're amping things up. Let me show you some stuff real quick. I'm gonna get back to Morpho, but look, dude, Ben just finished the website. This thing is sick, dude. It's tacticaledgetraders.com. If you guys want to sign up, it's free. Dude, he's got this thing set up. We are like on a different level. These are all modules where you can have like different videos and stuff like that. It's courses, free courses. You're not going to get access to 100% of the stuff free, but you'll get access to a decent chunk. A lot to keep you busy. And yeah, dude, it's legit, man. He really set this up. You got access to our Discord from here. You can connect right to it directly. So yeah, we got some big things going. We're pumped for 2026 here. So yeah, let's get back to Morpho, man. That was my little shill, by the way. I tried to squeeze that in there for you guys. So look, what I'm saying here is, look, we're in a little bit of a range, right? You got a bit of a range. This could be accumulation on a shorter time frame. It could also be distribution. We don't know. Maybe this is a bear flag. I probably wouldn't touch this thing inside this range because look, it hasn't shifted market structure yet. You're still on a downtrend technically, or you're just ranging. What I would be looking for is at least a 4-hour shift first, which we've kind of gotten, I guess, right? So that was your first 4-hour shift right here. It's going up, but you're at the top of the range. You don't really want to buy going into these levels because you're hitting into resistance. So you're either looking for the daily shift, which hasn't happened, but I would probably, if you're looking for a trade on this thing, I wouldn't touch this thing until it got outside this box. If it breaks outside of this and can establish itself, then the next logical place is probably going to be up here somewhere around this 150. That is the move I would want to catch. Something like that into this zone. That would be a nice fat, what, 17, 18% move. It could go higher, but I'm just saying, like, that's probably how I would trade this, going into a range like that. Yeah, I think this is a token, Morpho Labs. So look, if it breaks out of this accumulation, hell yeah, dude. I mean, I could show you an example of a perfect of a coin that played exactly like this. It was Link back in the bear market. I'm not saying it's gonna run up like crazy, but like let's go back to here, right? Look, see, remember this range right here? So every time Link, I'm just using this as an example, by the way. Don't go trade Link. But look, you got like some type of range. When you break out, you move up to the next area, which was up here, and it did, and it did it over here too. So these ranges, like this is how kind of crypto works a little bit. They range around, they bottom out, range around, and then when they break out, you don't always get this, but this is the ideal. You pop up, you come back, you retest, and then you rip. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for. That was like the exact example I want to give on that whole Morpho thing. So I would be looking for that, man. I'll be looking for that on Morpho. Let's go to Tesla real quick. Someone did ask for Tesla. Checking on Tesla's been doing really well. Not so much right now. Okay, let me get rid of all my TA. We're going to start fresh on this thing. All right, so, all right. First thing I'm seeing, look, we took a second pass at the high. All-time high right there. We swept it. They took the liquidity. Now, this is on a weekly. If I go down to my daily, we still haven't taken any real liquidity on the daily either. So we've taken the liquidity to the upside on the daily and the weekly, but we haven't taken anything but major on the downside. So the one thing my eye does catch though when I'm just looking at this, you got a little bit of a trend here. So it's going to be one of two things are going to happen. I think you're going to either one come down, probably maybe test these lows, not taking this low here, and then you'll probably like do one of these, right? It's probably going to play out one of two ways in my mind at least. Something like that, maybe you do that and then you'll take a real crack at actually breaking the high. Or it's going to do the opposite. It's going to break down and it's going to start to mark its way down. I think a lot of it has to do with one, this trend, two, this low here are the two areas I will be watching to see what price is going to do. So you have your low at 385 and you have your high at 488 and you have a trend. So you have some areas to watch on this thing. This right here, this is, somebody's asking if this is a coin. Was that an old chat? Sorry guys, I'm like, yeah, Apple is heavy, man. I was just showing off my short on that thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't look great. I mean, it's the chart's the chart. I don't hate Apple. I have nothing against it. I have an Apple phone, but yeah, this is what I see on Tesla, man. Right now, it's kind of just in this. It's gonna get It's gonna get tighter as this channel, or as this like trend moves into this resistance. You're gonna get tight here. So this is probably a nice little scalping range. This is a daily chart, by the way. This is probably a nice little scalping range for the time being. So if you're getting down to your 4 hour, right, you've lost this trend here on Tesla. You had a little bit of a trend, you lost it. So naturally, it's usually a lot of times you do come down and take a lot of the liquidity on the trend. So we'll have to see what happens. But right now, I wouldn't be looking for longs because you could be catching a falling knife, even though it is in an uptrend technically on the lower time frames, shorter time frames. It's definitely in a downtrend right now. So I'd be looking for a bounce down here on this trend to hold. If this trend doesn't hold, this is the area I'd be looking for, 385. Those are the two areas to the downside I'd be watching. And to the upside, like I said, it's about 488. So, yeah. What's up, Parker? Yeah, I actually have NVIDIA, man. I could take a look at that. NVIDIA's not looking too interesting right now. I wasn't really going to, like, there's no real trade is basically what I want to say on this thing. So, NVIDIA is kind of just chopping around. It's starting to look a little head and shouldery. I'm be 100% honest with you. Like, you see this high right here? I was looking for a pushback into this golden pocket. But I'm seeing, like, the makings of what could be a potential head and shoulders kind of forming, right? Just like little... That would be, like, one scenario that could be happening. Or it could honestly just be running back up to the highs. But for now, we do have an established low, right? We got this low right here. Let me get rid of all the TA. Start this fresh. So we do have this low right here. We can just kind of keep an eye on for now. Around 170. It did break this high here around 188, the previous daily high. It's holding above that. it's really close to call this a market structure shift because this is more of a double bottom to me. So what I would really want to see to be convinced that this is going to come back up and attack the highs, I would want to see some type of higher low get put in, and then I would be very confident to think that they're going to go for that 210 again. Until I see that, I mean, I'd be more on lower high watch just for now, like not lower high, but looking for like a high, like a swing high to get put in. So there's probably a swing high probably forming somewhere around where we're at now. I mean, we're at resistance too, right? If I'm going down to the lower time frames, we're at this resistance around 191. So maybe it's just ranging. Maybe this is just a range, a little bit of an exaggerated range, right? Kind of runs back over to here. Yeah. So this 192 seems to be a significant high. It gets kind of caught up there. You can even see here how it bounced off it a little bit, right? It does wick above it and stuff like that. It has they manipulate the price off it, but it does seem to be respected. And you have this low at 170. So I wouldn't be looking for longs on the short term up here. I'd be more looking for for shorts back down to the bottom of the range until this range starts to show otherwise. But if you can get back above this 192, then you start to attack the 200 level and then maybe back up to the highs. But we'll see. I mean, I don't really see too much of a trade here. This thing needs to kind of develop. I mean, unless you're looking for a short, like a quick scalp short, then there might be something there. I mean, it looks a little overextended. Doesn't, there's not much there for me. A-Lab, I could look at an A-Lab. Is that just the ticker? Oh, Astera. Yeah, we talked about this one. Okay, so look, Astera. We talked about this one before. We said it was ranging, and we're looking for either it to break down or what happens if it doesn't break down. Well, it could break up. So it had that little bit of a falling channel, whatever this was, falling wedge. Then it kind of started to bottom out, and now it looks like it's starting to shift momentum a little bit. Let me get rid of all the TA real fast. Let's just look at the charts. So I think, I don't know how I feel about this one, if I'm being 100% honest. It's got mixed signals. I mean, it looks good. If I'm looking at it on the weekly, it looks good. Like, it looks poised for a move up, right? But I just don't like, I'm not in love with the price action on, like, the lower time frames. Like, it just looks like a choppy mess. So, but hey, look, you got a breakout right here, right? You broke out. Can you hold this 175? If you can hold above this 175, man, 200's in the cards pretty quickly, I think. There's not much that stands between you and 200. I mean, you could see from this 175 right back here in this previous price action. I'll just drag this over so you can see what I'm talking about. But like, you see how you can establish above this 175, it kind of just pops up. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a price to hold above this level to make its mark up. So if it can hold, I mean, this may actually just be this could just be a bull flag. Like, at the end of the day, if you're looking at it on the weekly, that's what it looks like. All right, a little falling wedge, whatever that may be, or whatever you call that. But hey, it could be bullish, man. It could be going for the highs, but it's really got to break this level. I think that's the key level for me. It was the daily high, and yeah, that's the level that's got to break structure. This is your market structure shift. So let's get some closes above this. Let's hold this level, and then I think you could be looking up to the 200s. You start to lose this level, then it's this simple. It's back down to the bottom of the range. You have this low right back down here, right around 138. I mean, yeah, you have the local range, like the local low here. I just don't know how much weight I'd put into this lows down here. This is more of like a flag, so. But hey, it could serve as some support, so we'll see. If it loses 175, we could talk about the lower levels. Yeah, dude, I mean, it seems like it seems bullish. I mean, I think I posted this one in our Discord after we talked about it. It looked good. And how do you fade it? Like, I mean, I wouldn't be shorting it. I mean, look at this. If you're looking for a chart, this is as good as it gets, right? Like, that's what you want to see. You want to see higher highs and higher lows, and that's exactly what this chart's giving you. So just don't fade it. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're watching right now and you're not following us, give us a follow on TikTok. We do lives most days of the week. We do educational content, trading, live trading, all that fun stuff. We do have a Discord and we have a website. Check us out. Links are in the bio. But yeah, I don't know if you looked at Apple before. Yeah, I can go over Apple. So Apple, I'm short on Apple right now. That's just me personally. I'll show you what's going on with Apple, right? So this is a quick run through. Apple's in the channel. It's just been running up. And it's bullish. Long term, Apple is bullish. But every time it gets to these highs, right? This is the first time it touched. Second time it created this trend. And now it's up at that top of the trend. Let me get rid of the short real quick. I'll just show you the actual TA. Now we're back up there. Now you go flip down to the daily. What's it forming? It's forming a head and shoulders on the daily. It had already broken the uptrend, right? Top of the channel, head and shoulders. It looks like it's getting ready to reverse. So I took a short. My short's somewhere in this area, this little wick we got. I had gotten in initially on the break, but I added some when we pushed back up into that level. But I'm targeting down to like the low 200s, man. Invalidation, look, it's simple. Invalidation's a break. You start breaking 280, then it wipes out the idea of the head and shoulders, right? You start breaking 280, but you really need to break the highs around 287 for me to like, because you need to like continue the uptrend. So if we start losing these lows here, especially this low around 265, it's probably going to be dump city for this thing. But yeah, I mean, I like it for shorts. For a short, you can't long everything. You can short and long. So you take advantage of both ways. Did you? Nice. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, gold is looking good. Let me show you another little bearish looking chart. So this is Palantir. Palantir's looking a little head and shoulders too, man. It's got the the shoulder, head, shoulder on the weekly. I get down to like it just doesn't look great. I mean, you started to look. This is putting a lower high in on the weekly and the daily. I think there's like the real level I'm watching now is like if it loses this 150, it's officially in a downtrend. It'll break market structure on the daily, and it'll be a weekly market structure shift. So this is the level you need to watch on Palantir. If you own Palantir, I would be mindful if it starts to break below 148. It might be time to maybe start to reevaluate your position. I mean, I don't know your goals. Maybe you're a long-term holder, but for now, I'd be looking for that as the low to hold 148 if it's going to just range out or maybe make another attempt. But for now, it's a lower high, so no trade at the moment. But I am watching it. I want to see if it does like lose this. I mean, I also may look for longs down here too. This is a big level. This may not just break on the, it may hold for a bit, but it's looking a little bearish. I think the volume is coming down too on this thing. Yeah, I mean, look at the volume, guys. Look at that. Volume's just freaking flushing out, and this thing is just struggling, right? It's struggle city. So this might be a top for a while. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going down today, but this may be a top. I can take a look at Ondo. I haven't looked at Oracle, so you say Ondo and Oracle. I can take a look at those. I think I have Ondo. Let's just go look at a fresh chart. All right. I used to love trading this thing. So look, Ondo, it's just kind of recovered a decent amount of this wick from back in October, that Black Friday wick we had. It's still on a downtrend, I believe. I don't think it's broken the trend yet. I guess it did, kind of, sort of. All right. Broke out a little bit. Hasn't broken any major highs yet. Volume's still down. If you take just a fib pull from like here to there, you're kind of holding on that 786. So it was like the last hope. Otherwise, it was going to be the full reclaim of that wick. We did break out of a lower time frame range right here. There is some bullish divergence. I did check it earlier. There was bull divs the last time I checked on this thing. Going into the lows. You can see it a little bit here on the daily. See how momentum's like shifting up as the price action kind of bottomed out right here. So it's a little bit on the daily. there's like spots of it on different time frames. It's nothing crazy. I don't really like it because one hasn't really shown me anything on the higher time frames yet. So if you're not in from below this range, you're kind of screwed because you're coming into resistance right now. Just show you on the box, or just this line right here. So you're going into resistance, right? That was once support, now it's going to be resistance. So you break that, you get acceptance back into just this little range right here, right? So maybe if you break 44 cents, shot it goes up to 52 cents, maybe 53 cents on a high. But for now, you're up against resistance, so it's got a lot to prove. I mean, we didn't really even have a clean 4-hour break, like shift in structure. So like, you went from a low to a straight rally. You put in a higher low, right? And you broke it. So that's your first 4-hour market structure shift happened right here after this giant move up. So it's not clean. It just seems inefficient to me. That's just me personally. They didn't go back for a lot of this. So like, hard for me to want to take a long up here. But if you're long already, I mean, hey, look, good, congrats. Like, that's a crazy long to be in. But I think I'd be more comfortable waiting for this thing to flip. All right, just wait for this thing to get back above 44 cents, show some support, and then maybe you could run it up to 51, 52 cents. There's a possibility it just runs back up there. I'm pretty sure there's a volume profile here too. I run one across. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't really look that clean. That's because I'm running it all the way to here. Let me run it to just here. Yeah, it doesn't really help. I'm trying to just get the volume profile of this area here. But essentially, look, you break back above this level, you're looking at maybe running back up to 52 on Ondo. Oracle. What was Oracle's? I should know the ticker. I think I have Oracle on here. So Oracle. Man, I have a lot of OTA on there. I don't know. All right, well, look what we're bouncing off of right here. This is high right here. So we filled the CME gap. So this is probably what they were coming down for. This gap right here could have been a target, or maybe that's just why they're bouncing, right? Traders are closing out. So you filled that CME gap incomplete. So this whole move up, there was two CME gaps created, 1 and 2. Both of those have been fully filled. They've been filled, so there are no longer any inefficiencies or imbalances, whatever you want to call it, in this move up. We're also at kind of a nice level too for a bounce. It's kind of sitting right in the golden pocket. So if you're a fib trader and you know that, if price is going to continue in a trend up, the 618786, that golden pocket area, is a nice area to start looking for higher lows or lower highs, depending if you're looking to short on bigger moves. So we're in an interesting spot for a long. We filled the gap. I just don't see it yet because we haven't had any market structure shift. There's no clear trend, downtrend here. There's just kind of a straight drop. So I'd wait for at least a decent shift. You haven't even gotten a 4-hour shift, and you're ranging sideways right here. So if this starts to break up, this little whatever this thing is, I don't know if I want to call it a bull flag, starts to break up and starts to mark up higher lows, you might get a move back up to 231 right up here. If this thing starts to, break back down, you're probably going to be revisiting the lows again. Maybe it'll sweep, maybe it'll continue in the downtrend, but there's been no real 4-hour shifts here, not any clean ones. So I'd be looking for the 4-hour market structure shift before I would take any direction. It could happen if we break above this high. So this is the low, this is now the swing high. If you can get above this high here, just this high here, create a new high, higher low above it, somewhere in there, that's the move you look for. That's where you look to get in. You wait for the 4-hour market structure shift, and then you could probably catch this move back up to 230 on Oracle. That'd get really defensive there. You also have a CME gap on the way back up that they're probably going to go fill. So you got a target, right? You have a target. You have a reason for them to go up. It's just about being patient at this point, I guess, getting the confirmations that the move's ready. Or it's going to happen, There's no guarantees of this stuff. Yeah. So I'd be looking for see how this breaks out first. I'd be looking for that 4-hour market structure shift, and I'd probably expect them to come maybe take this 220 gap. If they're going to mark up, that would probably be the area I would expect them to go for. And then if it starts to break above this level, that's 225, then you start to look up a little higher, probably around like 285. The volume fades out very dramatically. You can see that by the VRVP right here. See the volume fades. That's a volume tool I use to show gaps in, because I like to play. I like to swing trade these gaps. They're fun because price moves so quickly because price is not traded here. So it's like fast up, fast down. So if you can catch a nice little breakout retest, you could maybe get a potential move up into this 225. And if it turns into something real, this gap would make a lot of sense, because if it's just gonna come back up and put in a lower high, this is probably the area I'm watching for, right? Let's say it does come back up on a higher time frame. This is the area you're looking for the lower high. If you're bearish, right? Even if it does, even if you are just bearish and this is all just a relief rally, because look, it's not a good look when you lose the weekly low. So your expectation is you're looking for either this high to get broken to continue the uptrend, or you're looking for a lower high normally. And this would be the area around this 280. So this could be the start. Like, again, this 240 area, I mean, I don't really see much reason for us to get rejected there. So I'd be looking more for this 280 as an ultimate target if this thing starts to break. If you can get back above 225, 280 is a nice area to watch. That's just my opinion on that one. So that's Oracle. What do you got for next week, say when? Let's see. Let me see. Let's see. Celsius. Okay, we talked about Celsius. I gave that setup like a week ago. This little inverse head and shoulders could go into this gap here, right? I said goes into the gap, then you look for the short back down. That was the play. It's playing out exactly how we drew it. Look. It's crazy, right? So I'd expect this gap to get filled back up to 57 on Celsius, and then I'd be looking for a short. Because ultimately, let's just keep it in context here on the higher time frames. We lost this trend, and we violated the weekly low. So my next expectation is we either take this high at 67, or I'm expecting a lower high to get put in, and a continuation down. And this area makes a lot of sense around 56, 57. So, but I mean, it's a nice move up, dude. That's a nice move up if you're long on it. So congrats. And I guess if I'm watching anything, I'll be watching this trend here, right? So you got a little bit of a trend forming on the higher time frames. So any pullbacks, the two areas I'll be watching for any pullbacks would be this area here around $45, and then if it goes a little lower around this 43. You don't want to lose this $40, $41 level. You start to lose that, then it's all bets are off. But ideally, you would want to, like this, for me to be really comfortable, I would want to see this 45 hold. So that would make me feel a lot better. I feel like I was playing along on this. So that is Celsius. PEPG, what is that? I feel like I should know this. PepGen. Oh shit, look at that. A little cup and handle. Right? Looks good. Looks good. I mean, it's broken out already. So you got the tough stuff beneath you, right? So you've got all the volume below you. So you have an easy move up. I mean, $10 is like probably the next target on this thing. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go in a straight line, but that's the next area I'd be looking for resistance. Maybe you get a little hung up around this $8 here where this previous range comes in. Possibly. You're kind of getting there now. So you could see a little bit of profit taking going into that. But hey, look, as long as you're holding above this $7 level, just call it $7, I'd be looking for this $9 to $10 level to get taken at some point. And if you break that, man, it's probably a straight shot back up into the double digits. So, yeah, thing looks good. Volume looks good. Look, the volume's creeping up on the weekly. I mean, that's weird on the daily, but I mean, it looks good on the like all my indicators look good on the charts. Look good. Money flow's coming up on the weekly. I just be looking for lower highs though, based off everything I'm seeing. Because look, you lost this low here, right? You did regain it, right? Could just be a deviation of this low. I'll just get rid of some of these lines. Some, you lost that low, you regained it. So maybe you'll start attacking some areas if you probably draw. Nah, that's an old volume profile. That's wrong. I don't know why that does that, but there's probably not a lot of price action on this thing. But yeah, man, get above $8. I think $10 is in the cards. For now, this $8 is temporary local resistance. You can kind of see we're getting a little bit of like, a little bit of selling into it. People are getting, taking a little bit of profits. Volume's fading a little bit. So it's been pretty pumpy. But I'd be watching this $8, and then $10, and then below I'd say 7. 7's the area below to keep an eye on this thing. But it looks good. Looks poised to it's breaking out. It's already broken out. So as long as it can take this high here, should be good to continue up. Yeah, did you miss the XRP TA? No, we didn't TA XRP. I could do that though. I just got to get through a few other ones first. What time is it? 10:30. I got a couple. I got a little bit more time in me. Oh shit. The hell is this? Look at the volume on that thing. I can't chart this, dude. How do you even chart this thing? I'll give it this. It's got the volume, but I mean, it's been a dead. This thing pretty much went to 0. What the hell was this? Look at this thing. It was at $3,000 at one point. Now it went down to almost $0. It was at like 60 cents at one point. It's hard to trade this. I mean, look, if you're in from down here, congrats. I would say the only real levels to really watch for, based off what I see, is probably the 750. There's not really much to chart here, dude. This is a low liquidity. Whatever is this, and this is low volume. Like there's not a lot of money sloshing around in here. But hey, if you can break this level, then you got some big upside ahead of you. There's not, the next level's at 19. So get above $7. But it's got a long way to go before it hits $7. It's like halfway there. So yeah, I can't really TA this thing, man. This thing's a little. I don't really got much to say about this. So I guess these are the levels I'd watch. Watch the dollar level and then like that $7 level. There's not much in between. I mean, maybe you got a little bit of support down here. Maybe you can see you're kind of like bunching up just a bit right there. Right. So maybe there's some temporary support around $2. But yeah, I'm gonna go on to the next one. Yeah, that thing is crazy, right? Chevron. I'll take a look at Chevron. All right. Oh shit. Okay. So that's the weekly chart. All right, so Chevron, right? Holding support above the previous all-time highs back from 2019, so last cycle. So from this cycle, this business cycle, after the bear market, put its pump in, it broke the highs, it's starting to consolidate above it. That's good. That's what you want to see. Now, question is this going to break out? We're in a range. This kind of reminds me of the bull flag that BTC was in for quite a bit of time, right? So you got a little bit of a range going on here. It's not the clear and cleanest, but it's there, Got a little bit of a range. Do you break out? Or do you start, I guess 133 needs to hold. You don't really want to lose 133 because then you'll get acceptance back down here. So as long as it holds above this, I mean, look, if this is a bull flag, what's the next target? Well, let's just do the measured move. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to play out like this, but maybe this thing is going to go up to $300. I don't know. We'll go look at it on a higher time frame. This could take years, by the way. This could take years. But yeah, I mean, it looks like a giant bull flag. The volume isn't there just yet, though. So hold above 133, and then, maybe this thing does start to break out and you get a bigger move up. But for now, it's just channeling. I go down to a local time frame like the daily. I mean, we're right up against it right now. Like, see that? That's what you're up against. So you're in a kind of a flag within a flag. So it's like, if this thing breaks out and breaks this high here around 168, it's probably a clean breakout at that point. I would say those are the levels I would want to see to verify a clean breakout in my book. I would need to see this broke, like a clean break, not just a sweep. I would need to see like price make its way up here, get it like a couple days closed. Maybe it can come back and bounce, and then that's what I'm looking for to run that up. But it would need to have a couple daily closures up at these levels, and then it could pull back, and then I would look for the higher low. But yeah, for now, I mean, it's just consolidation watch, man. It's on bull flag watch. If this thing starts to break up, cracks this, then hell yeah. If it starts to reject anywhere in this area, I mean, you look for a move all the way back down to 140, 135, this area. Let me see. 55s. Yeah, I feel that, dude. All right, I guess XRP is next. I was holding off on XRP for a little bit, but do me a favor, guys. If you're not following, give us a follow. Like I said, we do lives. It's not just myself. It's me, Nick, Ben. They're excellent traders. They see the market a little bit different than I do, but overall we're good. 1 second, guys. Got to re-up my TikTok. Got to prove I'm real. I hate that it does that. It's hilarious, but yeah, man, they're great traders, dude. They're great traders. They see the market in a little bit different light, but overall we have like we all complement each other. They're Bitcoin traders. Well, Ben's primarily a Bitcoin scalper. He does a lot of SFPs. Nick, he's a little bit more trades my style. He does a mixture of like day trading. He does some swing trading too. He trades a lot of like the precious metals. He's trading that SPY, Nasdaq. He does a lot of that stuff. We used to trade a lot of altcoins, but hasn't really been the best market for altcoins. So we mix it up a little bit. This looks good. Dude, this thing, the more I look at it on like the higher time frames, the more like bullish I think this could be. I mean, it doesn't look bad, right? Chevron doesn't look too bad. I'm looking at my indicators. Look at you got a little bit of bullish divergence right here coming into these lows, right? Can you see it? And this is a monthly, by the way. This is a monthly. I actually might add this chart. See how its momentum's kind of shifting up as it's going into support? That's telling you that there's buyers coming in here. And that's what that's saying. So could be a big move coming for Chevron in the next couple years. It could take a while. Like this is not a short time frame. This has happened over like years and years. So yeah, this is a good one, man. I'm gonna throw this on my list. I'm gonna probably share this with the group later too. By the way, guys, if you're interested and you if you want to join a group, check out our Discord, check out our website, Tactical Edge Trading. We got a lot of educational content if you want to learn more about the markets or just sharpen up, or if you want to be part of a trading group, we got a free Discord. We share a lot of I share a lot of thoughts and ideas on the markets as well do a lot of other traders who are very skilled. We'll go take a look at Bitcoin real quick, guys. Just want to check something out. So I'm still looking for a short up here. We haven't got up there just yet, but I think that bull flag I was talking about is starting to break out. Yeah, it is. I'm still watching for the short up there. Anyways, let's get back. What else you guys want to look at? CVX. What's CVX? I feel like I know what that is. That's Chevron. I just looked at that. Of course I know what that is. Sorry, I'm an idiot. We did Apple already. I just kind of gave you the rundown on Apple again, dude. I hit Apple kind of early on, and I think somebody had me actually look at it again. So Apple, pretty simple, man. It's coming down, I think. We're in this channel. We're at the top of the channel, right? We're at the top of the channel. We've got a head and shoulders starting to print. It's not confirmed yet, but it's starting to print on the daily. And we lost this trend. So, I mean, it's a lot of things are telling me downside. Volume's kind of fading, you know. I think we could see Apple start to come to the lower 200s. Might not happen for a little bit, but I think it's on its way to 250 pretty soon, probably the next few weeks, I would say. And I would say if the move is going to play out the way I think it is. And then I would say maybe a little bounce somewhere around that 240, 250, and then maybe it probably makes its way down to the summer, maybe the late, Q2, Q3, back into this low area. Maybe March, April, that time frame. That's if it's going to be bearish. Maybe I'm wrong and this goes up, but that's what I'm seeing on Apple. I think we're going to make our way down. Ultimately, I think like around 220, 215 is probably what I'm watching. LCRX. I definitely typed that in. LRCX. Gotcha. Lamb research. Jesus, dude, this thing already broke out. Not much to report on this one, I guess, right? It's broken out several times. You're in an uptrend. I guess if I was going to watch any levels, I'd be watching this high right here to see if we're going to continue in the uptrend. So that's I guess that's your most immediate support is your 166 on your daily. So like 166 is probably what you need to watch for support. You have some local support a little bit higher on 170, but yeah, I mean, upside, who knows where this thing's going to go. I mean, there are measuring tools you can use. You can use inverse fibbing. You take a Fibonacci, run it down here to this low. It's called the fib extensions. And you could pop in, let's see, the 1618, 2618 I like to use. You're at the 1618 right now. And then you have your 2618 around 216. These are just projections. They're not. Price is going to stop when people stop buying. That's what's gonna, when there's not enough buyers. That's what will happen. So, but yeah, I mean, for now, I guess I would just watch that support. Maybe you got a little bit of a trend forming in the short term that you could watch. Not a clean trend, but it's there. It's starting to form. This could serve as a little bit of early indicator that the trend may be reversing. But as long as it's above 167, 166, I would stay bullish. And like I said, maybe look at those targets around 220. I would say 200 is probably an obvious number. It's a psychological number. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, when we got up to 100 before, let's look what happened. So 100 was a psychological number. So look how price reacted. Got up to 100, pulled back, broke out, pulled back. Like, it messed around there. Just like how Bitcoin messed around at 100K. It's probably going to do the same thing around 200. So maybe it'll overshoot a little bit, fake people out. Maybe it'll undershoot it. Chevron is over my 168 level. Does Chevron have a 168 level? What about SoFi? Let's go check out SoFi. I mean, volume saying downside. Trend says it's more likely, more probable to come down. But it could consolidate for a bit. This could just be a little bit of a range in the time being, right? So I think the most immediate high is $30. And you got a little bit of a trend you're on right now. So you start to lose this low right here. So watch this trend to the downside. And then to the upside, really you're just watching this. This is what you're watching. This high up here. Let's get rid of everything else. You're looking for this high right here around 30 bucks. You can break this high right here that we're at, which you're starting to. It looks like you're getting ready to take this high that we're at right now. So if you look at it on a lower time frame, right? It's starting to bang its head up against this. If it flips this level around like 27.50, it's probably coming up to test some of these highs around $30. If it loses this low, this trend line, I mean, you got to expect it's probably coming back down to 23.50 at like, right around here. And maybe if it loses that, it's going to probably start to attack these liquidity down here. That's the next logical place for them to go. So maybe down to 20 bucks. That's the upside and the downside on both ends. So, I mean, these are just levels I would watch in the media. It's really what's happening right now is it's either topping out, consolidating, it could just be forming a top. Volume's kind of indicating that's maybe what's happening. But doesn't necessarily mean it can't have spikes back up. So you kind of start to almost play this like a range. So you just have to find the levels and then just play it level to level. That's how I like the range trade at least. I wouldn't be guessing for like new highs anytime soon. I mean, look, if you just take a volume profile, we bounced off the low. It's been hit many times. Yeah, we had some wicks below. You're getting back above POC. If you can clear POC, hold above it, then you're looking to go back to the value area high, which is that 30 bucks like we talked about. So kind of that's the play, I guess. Play the range. Right now, you gotta get above POC. You hold above POC, I think you got a shot at that 30. Somebody said FET. I gotta look at XRP. I've been fading XRP all day. All right, so let's look at XRP. So we're right up against that trend I had. I had drawn it to like right there. I don't think if I like that, to be honest. Let me just get rid of everything real fast. Just go fresh on this. All right, so still in a downtrend. Locally, though, we did break out. All right, so we did kind of break out over here. Get a little bit of a downtrend. Boom, we're getting that pop, right? Consolidation. Probably some bull divs somewhere in there. Somewhere in the mix, there's probably some bull divs. See some on the 4-hour down here at the slow. And right before the breakout happened. So what's happening on XRP? We're just kind of, look, got overextended. It started to form a bottom, right? This was the bottom. I'm going to get rid of this trend real fast. I'll get rid of this too. Let's just talk about the price action on the 4-hour real fast, and then we'll get into like where we think it can go. So that was a low, got put in. They came and swept that low. That's your spring. You held, traders stepped in, right? So you got your pump. The next level, somewhere up here. We're getting kind of close to it, right? It's either there's 227, which is like really I would call like it's probably a weekly high too. Sorta. It's more of a daily high. So you got this 227 up there. And you have a little bit of like a 4-hour resistance that you're coming up to in a little bit, which is around 221. So let's just call it this zone in general is going to be resistance for you. If you're long or if you're planning on doing anything like that. So this whole area is your resistance. I mean, don't want to be taking longs in the range right around this level. You would want to wait for a pullback, higher low to get put in, some other or you'd wait for this to flip. But if you're looking for shorts, I'd be looking up in this area. I'd be looking at this 220 to 227. I'd be looking for rejections up there. If it does manage to break and flip this level, right? What's next? Well, it's the next level up. See how it kind of goes level to level? So that was once, that's a level. This is a level. This is a level. So you flip this, your next target's around 270. You flip that, your next target's around $3. I mean, I'm not saying it's going all the way up there, but that's just the way it went down is usually the way it goes up. But if we're looking for like areas of rejections, I mean, you're coming up on one right now. And then I would say the bigger area, if it does break that, I would definitely be looking for shorts probably up at this 270 area, 260 area. I mean, that's just the next logical place. That's the next weekly level. That's really the weekly high. If you're looking for like a high confluence area to be looking for shorts, that's probably up here somewhere. You might get a little reaction here. But right now, as long as it's above 182, it's held this level for a while, you see. You expect them they're going to claw back some of this, so play it level to level. Yeah, good job, man. Good job. 186 is great. Congrats. You're in profits, dude. Good for you. Let's go look at FET real quick. Oh, FET's not looking great. Yeah, man, this thing got beat to shit, dude. This thing's already been through a bear market. I mean, it's holding this low. That's what you're bouncing off of right there. So you're at the low. You're pretty close to support. Not really. I mean, you've probably run up like 30, like 50, 60% already, but that's essentially the low. Your next real big level is probably up here. Just makes sense, right? It does make sense. They got a level there too, but I would say this is probably the first area I'll be watching. 34 cents. It lines up because what? We bounced. We closed candles actually there. We got rejected a little bit here. No, it does wick through. It's a little. It's a volatile. It's a freaking altcoin. And then we had confirmation that we were getting acceptance back down below, and then we came all the way down. So I think 34 cents is your resistance, and I would say 20 cents is your support in this larger range, in this daily, weekly range. You start to flip 34, then you can start looking up towards some of these highs up here. You can maybe look for this low volume gap to get filled. That's if things really flip bullish, but I mean, I doubt it. They're probably going to protect this level, this 34 to 38 level. They're probably going to there's going to be a lot of sellers in that area. But if it flips it, the volume fades. Could run up to 50 cents fast. But one level at a time. These are your levels, so it's in the middle of a range right now. I probably wouldn't do anything with it trading wise, but if you're already in, this is probably where I would maybe shave some off if you haven't already. From 21.33. No, you're in a good spot, man. You're in a good spot. You're in from... I would probably, and this is just me, you can do whatever you want. If I was in this trade, if you're in from 21.33, I'd have my stop loss right here. Right below that swing low. Because one, you're protected now, right? You're protected from losing any money on the trade. And this is for anybody who's just listening. If you want to think like a trader, this is how you should think. You give yourself an opportunity to stay in the trade, and you can protect your entry so you never lose money. It's a risk-free trade. You can walk away and feel okay and just let it play out. And then if it does this again, right, comes down, puts in a higher low, then you just move your stop up to there too. Move it up to there. And have it gradually follow. Now you use higher time frames. If you're in a swing trade, you use like a 4-hour swing low. That's how I like to play it. But you can do the same thing on like a 15 or a 1 hour. But I usually don't trail my stop too much on scalps. I kind of just take my profits when I see the momentum getting lost or I hit a level, I just cut it. But if you're in a swing trade, that's a good way to trade. You can also do this too, where you just run a trend up, right? And if you breach this trend, you cut the trade. I know a lot of traders that make good money doing that, and I trade like that sometimes too. You lose the trend, it's an early sign that hey, it's time to get out. Cut your take what you got and get out. So I'd be watching that. That's just me. So 5 for tomorrow. So here's the thing about stocks. We never know what's going to happen when New York opens up. So look, what we talked about with that long, you're at resistance, right? If you're in profits, my advice to you, if you're in profits, is not financial advice, but if I were in profits on this and I'm at resistance, and let's say I want to be in the trade, I don't want to cut my trade, I would at least move my stop to break even so I can't lose the trade. Now, if I was using this money to pay the bills, to pay rent, I'd be taking profits right now. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to close it all out, but I would be taking something off the table as we go into this level. Because for me, this if you caught the bounce down here, or let's say you caught this break, right? So I could think of a few ways I would have gotten to this trade. Maybe you caught the breakout. You locked in some profits. Don't give it all back. That's just the way I think, especially if you're paying the rent, or you're using your trading to fund your life or anything like that. If you're just trading just for fun and you just want to, which I don't think you should be trading real money for fun, but let's just say you're like you don't really care, then throw your stop at break even. Don't take an L. But yeah, I mean, it looks poised. It looks poised for a move up, but we won't know. We won't know till tomorrow because we have to see how the market's open, man. But I mean, this looks good for a move, probably up to this $30 level. I still think it probably gets up there, but we still have to break this 27.50 first. So once it breaks that, we'll see what happens. Yeah, trend trading's so simple. It's so easy too. Let me see if I have anything else I want to look at. Oh, so here's something I'm actually interested in. This is a play I'm kind of I'm thinking I'm going to take. A lot of people are shitting on MicroStrategies right now, which is good because that's usually when it's the best time to long. But look, we put in a low, and we're starting to break. We're starting to deviate below, right? We took the low. We're starting to get a little bit of a hard to explain, but this pattern here, it's starting to look like. When I see stuff like that, the first thing I think is look for the bull div, and that's what I'm seeing. You're seeing bull divs on the daily, right here, bullish divergence. That means momentum shifting up, yet price is still moving in the opposite direction. They're doing momentum and price are doing the opposite things. You can see that in a lot of different ways. You can see it here with volumes moving up and price is still moving down. So the volume's kicking up. You're getting divergence on the daily, right? The weekly's bottomed out. It just looks like it's ready for a little bit of a bounce. Just the way it looks. Does it happen today? Does it happen tomorrow? I don't know. I mean, the 4 hours already got bull divs kind of forming. Look at this on the 4 hour. It's just the momentum shifting up. Price is steadily shifting down. So it's getting some buy pressure is what that's telling me. So I'm waiting to see if I can get a 4 hour market structure shift on this thing. If this thing breaks up, and I'm going to post this actually in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, guys, join up. I post my trade ideas. I'm not the only one. So you got a little bit of a trend there, right? So I'm looking for a break somewhere up like there. Put a higher low in on the 4 hour. Give me that 4 hour market structure shift. I will ride this thing back up to like $200. Because that's where I think it's going to end up going. It might go higher than that. But I'm looking for something like that. And maybe move back up to here. Excuse me. And then we'll evaluate. Now, if it starts to lose this level and just starts to fade, then obviously the trade's invalidated. But this is kind of like a wild card. I know a lot of people are getting really bearish on it. I'm one of those people. I like to go against the grain. And when I see divergences and I see bearishness, when the price is going down, I see everybody saying, "Oh, this thing's going to zero. It's done." And everyone's fading it, and I see divergences starting to form. That's just basically confirmation that there's probably a reversal coming. What's up to 164? MicroStrategies? It might be. It might be. It's just looking good. Yeah, I believe it. If it pulls back this week, if it's up to 164, that means it's probably up here somewhere, like right where I drew this out. So that means I'm looking at this point for a higher low to get put in. First higher low it puts in on a 4 hour, I'll probably buy in. It's a swing trade. I'm not going to use leverage on this thing. It's already a leveraged position, but I'd be shooting for like at least a good 15-20% move. You could use, I guess you could use low leverage. I would probably use like 3 to 5x on this. I wouldn't use more than that. That's just me. What about RW? Should I go long tomorrow? I don't know, man. I can't tell you where you go long or short. And plus, we don't know. You won't know until the market opens. So I would wait to see. You should, as a trader, you shouldn't be guessing. You should be waiting and reacting. You can have trade ideas, you can have plans, and then if like your plan pans out, then you take the trade, but you should still have confirmations. And if you don't, and you're guessing because you don't understand trading, join our Discord, dude. I'll teach you myself how to trade. We got, like I said, we got some really good traders in the group, and it's not just my style. There's a lot of different trading styles, and we have all of them. So I'm just looking at this thing real quick. So that's the downtrend. So that would probably be the target. Somewhere in this area, you got a gap here that they didn't fill all the way. Right there. So I'm just looking for areas of interest. When I look at new charts, I'm always looking for areas of interest, like on the higher time frames, that like where price would maybe want to go. And then I look and build confluence. So I'm seeing this downtrend, right, from the highs on the daily. And I'm seeing this gap, the CME gap right there that hasn't been filled yet. This is RDW. So that's a higher time frame. So I think eventually price will make its way up here. If it's going to continue to be bullish, price will make its way up there. I see this low here. There was a deviation below, a reclaim, and now we're starting to mark up. So I think the trend is up for now in the short term. You could probably use this uptrend here just to kind of mark it out on the lower time frames. As long as you stay above this, you're bullish. It's kind of just doing the same thing over and over, right? It's this consolidation, rip, consolidation, rip. So I probably wouldn't buy into the rips. I would wait for the consolidation. So if you're looking for a trade on this, you wait for that to happen. And you buy in on a break, or you look for a bounce, or you find some, whatever your system is. You know, there's different ways that you can do a breakout. You can do you can do bounces, you can do sweeps. There's different ways to trade. But that's how I would take that trade. If I was looking for a long, I would wait for that pullback. Maybe you just look for a pullback into VWAP. You know, I'm not sure if you're a VWAP trader, but if you like VWAP, VWAP's below. So when you get far from VWAP, oftentimes what happens, price will move back into VWAP, whether it's below it or above it. It likes to. That's the fair price for the day. So when you're this far away, you probably don't want to be taking longs. Probably want to be looking for shorts, if anything, on the shorter time frames. So I'd look for a pullback, and then I would look to see if a higher low gets formed, and then I would probably look for a long on that higher low. And then my target would probably be eventually here if I was swing trading. I'd be looking for this $11 to $12 to get filled. This little gap up here. Let me see if everything else agrees before I go saying all that stuff. Let me get that back. I need that back. Sorry, 1 second, guys. There it is. I mean, the indicators aren't really telling too much. It's just consolidating. So, yeah. I would wait for the pullback. I wouldn't go buying it. I wouldn't go longing at this level. So that's the answer. I wouldn't long tomorrow. I would wait for a pullback and then look for a long. You're stuck at Solana at 145. Target is going up. I'm going to look at Target, Solana, and then I am going to probably call it after that. All right, those are my last two. But yeah, I got you. I'm going to hook you up. Let's look at Target first. We TA Target. So we're looking for a push back into this 105 to 110 area, right? That's the area of resistance we're looking for. The area we need to break above, let me get rid of VWAP real fast. So the area we need to break above, we're actually breaking above, is the $100 level. So can we hold above 100 is the question. If we can hold above 100, then 105, 110's in the cards. If we can't hold above it, well, we got a little bit of a trend here, right? So we can watch this trend. That'll be an early indicator. And if we break below, if let's say we start to lose this here at this level, well, then it's back down to the lows. I mean, we haven't really done much from where we're at. Unfortunately, we're at the top of the range. So it would just be basically back down to the bottom of the range at the end of the day, right down here. Top of the range, bottom of the range. This is just a local level that we're watching. So I think targets getting towards that target. We talked about targets getting towards that target. Jesus. But like you got this greater downtrend. So What I think could be happening, look, if this thing is consolidating for a bigger move, maybe it does. Maybe it's just going to chop in here for a while and then eventually either break up and do a bigger move up, or it's going to make a bigger move down. This is either accumulation or distribution. We're going to figure it out soon, though. So we'll see what happens in this range. But right now it's in a giant range, so play the range. If it starts to break back above this like 108 level, then we start talking about a bigger move. Because then your next level is up here. It's at 146. That will line up with this trend being broken. That would be a big pop, man. I think that would be an explosive move. Just like it was back here. Right? When it broke about broke about 110, 105. It just kept going. So we'll see. That's target. It does look like it's going up. It's just whether it goes down first before it goes up. And Solana. Sol USD. Alright. Alright, so Sol's the last one for the night, guys. And then I'm going to probably go to bed. Because it's kind of late here where I'm at. I'm in the East Coast. In case anybody's wondering. If anybody else is from Philadelphia, let me know. So, look, you're at the range lows. This is kind of like the range high for the cycle. So, that's just the day. That was the weekly. We are holding above a daily level right now. So this is a daily low that we're holding above, and we're pushing into a high right now. So this high right here is going to be immediate resistance. So look, this is where you're at on Sol. You are in at what's your level you said you're in from? You're stuck at Sol at 145. My guess is it's probably going to make its way back up to 145. Now that's the question. What are you going to do when it gets there? If you're underwater, and there's probably a lot of people who are underwater, there's probably going to be some profit taking up here, or people getting out of their position who got stuck in here and had to ride it all the way down and run it back up. If it breaks 145, your next level is up here. This is 170. Sol pretty much just runs this level. If it breaks 145, it's 170. It's like it just does it. Like right here, 145, 170. You break 145 right here, flagged out. Boom. It actually ran up to 200 that time, but that's what's in the cards. So right now you're in a range. I think you have a good shot of getting up to this 145. The question is whether it breaks it or not. I think there's a very good shot it's going to make its way up here. I actually think there's a possibility it does get up to 170. I'm not saying hold because like see how the weekly's really like all the way oversold. When the weekly's so oversold like that at the bottom of the range, it usually results in a decent move. I don't think that's necessarily what we're going to get here. I think this is more of a relief rally than anything. But there's some of these alts have been known to run 50s to 100% sometimes on some of these relief rallies. So I could see Sol doing something like that, where it runs up maybe to like 170. You know, it's a bigger token. If I'm just looking at it like non-objectively, it lost trend, right? It hasn't actually had a proper retest. So where do you look for the retests? For me, I like to look at the 618. So that's this line right up here. So this area right up here is usually where I like to look for my retests. So possibility gets all the way up there, maybe. I think more likely this is probably going to be a better area to watch. But there's a possibility it goes up to 200. I mean, I think I'm more on the camp of this. This is probably what's going to happen. See how this 170 lines up with the 618 or 382, I'm sorry. I think this is more of a possibility for us in this case. So I would say this is probably more so the area I'd be watching. But if it does break that, it could actually come all the way up there. I'm just giving you the realm of possibility of like how far up it could actually go and still be posture for a bigger move down. But yeah, I mean, you're probably like, here's my advice to you. This is what I do. This is what I would do in your shoes. If it gets up to 145, I would cut my trade, break even. I would then wait for price to prove itself to go long again. Goes up here. If it breaks out and then flips it as support, this is where you go long. You don't go long going into resistance. Like take a long right there and then get caught. And this is why we have stop losses. Like if you went long there, you should have had an invalidation. So you wait for a flip, SR flip, support resistance flip, and then you go long. You can re-enter probably almost at the same price, but you'll actually have a low that you can put your stop loss under, and then you can actually, being a trade where you're not gonna like fucking run it to zero, essentially. So that's how I would play that on Solana. But yeah, that's kind of everything I'm looking at, guys. Yeah, reduce your risk. It's true. He's 100% right. If you're feeling uncomfortable in a position, you probably have too much risk on, or you're in a really bad trade, one or the other. Or you let the trade go so long that you've taken a drawdown that's bigger than you wanted, and then in which case you should have had a stop loss. But look, those are all mistakes a lot of people make. I mean, I made it as a trader. I know a lot of traders that still do make those mistakes. No, you just sent it. Fair, fair. Anyways, guys, look, I'm gonna probably roll for the night. I'll be back on tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. My name is Eddie. I'm a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. If you guys are interested, check us out. Links are in the bio. Give us a follow on TikTok. We do lives almost 6 days a week at this point. It's myself, Nick, and Ben. They're both excellent traders, great with TA, very successful in this industry. So I appreciate everybody for coming out. I'm gonna call it. You guys have a good one. All right, later, y'all.